discussion on Sri Giriraj Parikrama Day 2.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Grama Tarine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, our listeners over Facebook Live, and our listeners over Zoom. Welcome to all of you to this day 10 of Sri Vrajamandal Parikrama. Today we will be doing the second part. We will be completing our Giri Govardhan Parikrama. So this is the day 2 of Sri Giriraj Govardhan Parikrama. So before we proceed, we would like to acknowledge, congratulate, and announce the participants of the quiz session from yesterday. We would like to congratulate Flavia, Brinda Gopika Mataji, Sarojamukhi Indulekha Mataji, Savita Mataji, Lakshmi Priya Mataji, Nutan Purohit Mataji, and Bhakti Priya. Congratulations to all of you for participating, and we encourage all our devotees to please participate with your comments at YouTube or Facebook. In the videos, please comment over there in the with your answers, so that we may be given an opportunity to glorify you and to announce your names. And also, if some of you are, as some of you are doing, you can personally send your answers to me also, or either of us. You can send your answers in so that we can announce your name. So please do try and answer the quiz questions. Thank you.
All right, can we have the slideshow, please? So, yesterday we covered the first part of Sri Giriraj Parikrama, and we came till Sri Govinda Kunda. Today we'll continue our Parikrama of day 2 out of day 10 of Vrajamandal, but day 2 of Giriraj Parikrama. We'll go to Puchri, then Lota Baba's Mandir, Uddhava Kunda, Sri Radha Kunda, Sri Shyama Kunda, and then we complete Sri Giriraj Parikrama. Next slide, please. We will today continue our walk in the inner pathway right at the foothills of Giriraj. So far as you can see, from Vrindavan we came to Mathura, then we did a Mathura Parikrama. We already did a Panchakrosh Parikrama, then Mathura Parikrama. From there we came to Madhuvan, from Madhuvan to Talvan, Kumudvan, and then we took a turn to all these different places and came to Bahulavan, and then from there to Basoti and came to Sri Giriraj Parikrama. Yesterday we've completed half of it. Today we'll complete the entire Giriraj Parikrama. Next slide.
And Govardhan, Radhakund, Shamkund, as we all know, is in the 5th forest. So we've covered Madhuvan, Talavan, Kumudvan, Bahulavan, and the 5th forest of Vrindavan is Vrindavan, the 5th forest out of the 12 forests, which is considered to be one of the largest forests of Sri Vrajamandala, is this Vrindavan forest.
Next slide, please. So yesterday we had come till Govindakund. We stopped there. Now we continue from Govindakund, and at Puchri we'll take a U-turn and then go back again till we reach Sri Radha Kunda. Ki Jai. Next slide, please. This is Sri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. So before we start, we pray that to Sri Giriraj to allow us to continue this parikrama. Next slide, please. This is on the foothills of Giriraj. Krishna Balaram played with his cowherd boyfriends and wonderful leelas with the gopis. Next slide, please. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Yesterday we heard how Krishna protected the Brajbasis by lifting the Govardhan hill. Next slide. And then we also saw how this particular Giriraj is actually in the shape of a peacock whose head is bent inside, and the eyes of the peacock are Radha Kunda Shyamaput. So we'll be taking now Puchri. This is his punch, which means the tail. We'll be going around the tail of Giriraj or of the peacock. All right, next slide, please. So this is where we were in Govindakund. We continued walking. Next slide, please. And so from here, we are starting to walk from Govindakund onwards. Next slide. When Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he performed Sri Giriraj Parikrama, he held on to one of the shilas of Sri Giriraj, as we can see, and he cried in deep loving ecstasy. This should be our mood. Although we don't climb on Govardhan Hill, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was also very, very careful not to put our feet on Sri Giriraj. But then we can always hug the Govardhan Shilas, worship them, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu bathed them with his tears. Next slide, please. Before we start our parikrama, we chant Namaste Girirajaya Govardhana iti namine Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Dayine.
So now we come to this little village, and if you can see that, if you see the top of this picture, you see the little, like a little V up there. So just like how the actual tail of the peacock, it kind of separates from the body, like the body comes down and then it raises up again to form the peacock's tail. This is exactly like that. So this is the tail, the starting point of the Puchri village. So this is the tail of Sri Giriraj, Puchri. This village is called as Puchri Village, and Sri Giriraj, who is in the shape of the peacock. And this particular village, because it is at the tip of the tail, it is called as Puchri. This village, when we come to the tip of the village, it falls in the state of Rajasthan. Geographically, this Puchri village, it falls in the state of Rajasthan, and it is the southern tip of Sri Giri Govardhan Hill. Jai Shri Puchri Dham Ki Jai.
Next slide, please. From here, we come from Puchri. Near Puchri itself, there is a temple of Lota Baba. Lota Baba is one of the very dear friends of Krishna. When Krishna left for Mathura, this friend of Krishna was crying so much. Krishna, why are you leaving us? So Krishna pacified him, and he told Lauta Baba, I will come back. I will surely return. So this friend of Krishna, Lauta Baba, is still waiting for Krishna to return. Lauta means return. So he's the return Baba, meaning he's waiting for Krishna to return. And whoever is doing Sri Giriraj Parikrama is said to come to this temple and give witness at this temple that we are doing Giriraj Parikrama. Please bless us, Sri Lota Baba. And then we complete our Govardhan Parikrama, and Vraja Mandal Parikrama is considered to be fruitful when we take blessings from Lota Baba. Lota Baba is again a friend of Krishna. Next slide, please. Sri Lota Baba ki jai. It says, Pratin Mandir Puchri ka Lota, which means this is a very old temple in Puchri. This is of Lota of Puchri.
So Krishna, this Sakha said, he is always meditating. Mere Krishna Lord aayenge, Mere Krishna Lord aayenge. Then my Krishna will definitely return. My Krishna will definitely return. So this is the only meditation he has. So that is why he is called as Lauta Baba. Next slide. Let's take a closer darshan of Sri Lauta Baba ki jai. Jai Shri Lota Baba ki jai. So please, like yesterday, if we can have lamps that we can offer to Shri Lota Baba, and when we are here, when we are taking his darshan, please let us pray to Lota Baba that please take our witness. We have come here to give you our witness, our sakshi, that we are performing the Govardhan Parikrama, and we are also desiring to complete our Vraja Mandal Parikrama. So please, Lauta Baba, please give us your witness, take our witness, and please convey it to Krishna. So this is the prayer we do here at this temple, that Lauta Baba is actually witnessing our devotional service and our intense desire to serve Krishna. So please let us take a moment while we are nicely offering ghee lamps here to Sri Lauta Baba. Make our heartfelt desire, our sincere desires, let us express to Sri Lauta Baba. Jai Sri Lauta Baba Maharaj ki jai.
Next slide, please. So from here
is
now,
where we have taken the turn. We have now taken the turn. Now, when we do parikrama, we should always know that when we started from Govind Kund, we remember we are walking, but Giriraj is on our right. So whenever we are doing parikrama, Giriraj should always be on our right. So when we take the turn, now again Sri Giriraj is on our right. And we keep walking now back towards Dankhati on the other side.
So now we'll walk a long distance. We'll again cross Danghati, pass through a beautiful market area. We can drink some lassi, sweet shops here or there. But many devotees, they do the tapasya of not eating or drinking anything till they complete their Giriraj Parikrama. So we keep walking. And when we come near to our next destination, we can have darshan of the back of Kusum Sarovar. The palatial structures of the back of Kusum Sarovar could be seen. Next slide, please. So while we are walking and coming to Uddhava Kund, we do some kirtan. It's quite a walk before we reach Uddhava Kund from Puchri Lota Baba temple.
So let us do some nice kirtan. Let us think that we are doing a nice walk through this place.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Lal ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gurudeva ki
Jai. So now walking, we have now finally reached our next destination, which is Sri Uddhava Kunda.
In fact, it is said that King Vajranabh, he manifested this Kunda under the guidance of Shandilya Rishi. Vajranabh, who was the great grandson of Krishna, and he took guidance from Shandilya Rishi and manifested or uncovered this Kunda. This is the place. There is a temple we can see which is dedicated to Uddhava, Lord Krishna's cousin, and it's of great spiritual significance because it's said that Uddhava always resides here. He's praying to Lord Krishna for the love and devotion that the gopis had for Krishna. Uddhava came to Vrindavan. Next slide, please. As we know, he came to Vrindavan to deliver the message of Krishna because Uddhava looked exactly like Krishna. But he was so overwhelmed seeing the devotion and the love of the gopis that he wanted to remain in the forest of Vrindavan just, next slide please, just as a creeper. He said, I just want to remain as a creeper, Gulmalata, and smear the dust of gopis' lotus feet on my head. One of the reasons Krishna sent Uddhava here was to deliver the message, but at the same time, when Lord Krishna sent Uddhava, Uddhava stayed there for 10 months. Uddhava realized, I have no love for Krishna. As compared to these gopis, I used to think I'm Krishna's best friend. I love Krishna, but look at the love of these gopis. Uddhava was very famous as a great devotee, but when he saw the love of the Brajbasis, he felt, actually, I have no love. When similarly,
when a materialistic person, when he sees someone having something more in some specializations, we tend to become envious. But when a Vaishnava, when they see someone superior to them, they want to follow the footsteps of that superior, and they would want to take the dust of that superior upon their heads. That's what actually makes a Vaishnava very, very great. So here we see that envy is the basic principle of material existence. Envy runs this material world, just like what runs the spiritual world is right opposite. That is love that runs the spiritual world. But in the material world, envy is the basic principle that runs the material world. But it has absolutely no place in the spiritual life or spiritual world. So when we see someone being more blessed than ourselves, someone being more recognized than ourselves, someone being more empowered than ourselves, or someone being able to do greater things than ourselves, we become materialistically affected by that, and we tend to become envious. But if we are spiritually blessed, we would not become envious. We would want to serve such great people, and this quality is seen as great by Krishna. Our so-called greatness that we may consider to be great is not seen as great to be by Krishna. We may be speaking very nicely, we may be singing very nicely, we may be having great influence over a lot of people, or we may do a lot of activities very, very nicely. But that is not very impressive to Krishna. Krishna is not at all bothered or not at all impressed by that kind of so-called greatness. But it is our consciousness that is impressive to Krishna when we see good in others without any envy. And when we want to serve those who have those qualities, when we want to follow in their footsteps, and when we want to serve such personalities, that becomes great in the eyes of Krishna. So Uddhava could see that the love of these Brajavasis, that the love of Srimati Radharani, the love of the gopis is so wonderful. And that therefore, Uddhava, he desired that let me become a blade of grass. Let me become a creeper. in the land of Vrindavan, so that one day these gopis, these wonderful beloved servants of Krishna, they will put the dust of their lotus feet on my head and I will be blessed that day. So this is the, desire of Uddhava. This is the humility and the service attitude of Sri Uddhava. Next slide, please. That, when Uddhava, when he saw the great intense love that Srimati Radharani and the gopis, you see, Uddhava is reading the letter of Sri Krishna to the gopis in the background in this picture, and Srimati Radharani, she is, saying to, she's actually having a conversation with that bumblebee who's sitting on that rose. That she's telling, oh Krishna, you are this Madhu who has come here and you are trying to, pacify me with a so-called message that you have sent with your friend. But where are you? Why did you not come? So in, witnessing such intense love of the gopis and Srimati Radharani, Uddhava desired to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So here in this temple, next slide please, we see how Uddhava, he desired this, and this is how he resides in Sri Vrajadham, and this is the temple of Sri Uddhava Bihari Ji and Sri Radha Krishna here. Very, very beautiful deities. It's like Srimati Radharani is leaning on the shoulder of Krishna. She's almost hanging on the shoulder of Krishna. Very, very sweet and beautiful deities here at Sri Uddhava Kunda. And you can see the altar behind. They are filled with creepers and grass and all that, which is signifying that Uddhava is manifesting here as his desire, that he wants to be a blade of grass in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Next slide, please. So again, the beautiful deities. Here again, you can see how the deities and the altar is always decorated by Gulmalata. Gulmalata means these creepers and the blade of grass. They're always decorating this altar, which is the manifestation of Uddhavaji. And the Brajvasis, they worship Uddhava. And we also come here and worship Uddhava so that we may also develop this genuine service attitude that Uddhava has, and not be envious of anyone, but really genuinely try to see the good in others and try to, be subservient to the goodness in others. That way, we will become so blissful. Our entire being will be so purified. It'll be so blessed. Next slide, please. So this is the Babaji Maharaj, who is the Brajbasi Pujari at Sri Uddhava Kunda. And since 1997, since before our marriage, when we used to visit with my parents, since that time this Maharaj is there. And he has become a very, very close friend of our family. And here is the time that he was seeing Prabhu, and he was so happy to see Prabhu, because to find out that Prabhu is from Ucha Gaon, from Lalita Sakhi's village near Barshana. So this Babaji Maharaj was very, very pleased, and he had told us one instruction he had given us on this day. He had said that you are, by Krishna's mercy, we've been able to do Giriraj Parikrama around 8 times till today. But he said to us that you can do Giriraj Parikrama every day in your mind. Start at Kusum Sarovar, go to Manasi Ganga. From Manasi Ganga, come to Mukharavinda Dan Ghati. From there, go to Anior. Then come to Govinda Kund. From Govinda Kund, come to Puchri Lota Baba. Then you come, walk all the way, come to Uddhava Kund, then to Radha Kund. Take darshan of Radha Kund, Sham Kund, and come back to Kusum Sarovar. As simple as this. It takes less than 2 minutes. But when we are meditating, every day that we are doing Giriraj Parikrama, this Brajbasi told us that we get the benefit of performing Giriraj Parikrama in our mind every single day. So we both try to do that every single day. And we request all of you also to please try and do that. And here at Sri Uddhava Kunda, especially, let us pray to Uddhava so that, we may be allowed to develop this attitude of attachment to Sri Brajadham.
Next slide, please. So this is the Goshala at Uddhava Kund. You can see the cows on the other side. They are so eager to come and be fed at this Goshala. Very beautiful cows.
And Prabhu actually had a garland, that Brajbasi Maharaj gave Prabhu, that garland that he is wearing. And the cows, because, we didn't have anything much to feed the cows wanted to come and eat the marigold garland also. It was so sweet. And Prabhu was giving them, 2, 3 flowers, and he fed those cows some flowers like that. So it was so wonderful to do this here at Sri Uddhava Kunda. Now, we forgot one thing. At Uddhava Kunda, please let's go down to the Kunda. Let us sprinkle water on our head. Thank you. Please let's go. Yes, here. So please let's sprinkle water on our head, and let us, please offer our obeisances, our respectful obeisances here at Sri Uddhava Kunda. Some devotees take bath here, so please do take bath or at least sprinkle water. And let's do arti. Can we go forward to the deities here? Next slide.
Pray to Sri Uddhava to allow us to have the same attitude.
So previous slide, please. Let's do arti here to Sri Radha Kunj Bihari ji here at Sri Uddhava Kunda. Let's do arti here, and let's pray to them that please may we develop the attachment to Sri Brajadham and a non-envious attitude towards all that will make us truly spiritual. Nirmat Saranam Satam. Jai. Sri Uddhava Kunda ki jai. Sri Uddhava Bihari ji ki jai. Next slide, please.
So now we continue walking in Kirtan, and we are about to arrive at Sri Radha Kunda. And if we start, if we take 7 hours for this sometimes, then if we start at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., it's almost like 11 a.m. by the time we come here. It's scorching heat. And so here we can see Galasudha, she cannot tolerate heat, so she's completely covered herself like a Vraja Gopi, both Galasudha and her mother.
No, my mother's face is at least seen. I had covered myself fully.
So we are slowly arriving at Radha Kunda. Next slide, please. So here, Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda, they are the whole, Radha Kunda especially, is the holiest place in all of Brahma's creation. In fact, Radha Kund and Shyama Kund, they represent the eyes of Govardhan, which is in the shape of a peacock, as we said. This is the place where Radha and Krishna performed their intimate pastimes. One time, there was a demon named Arishta. He was sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna and Balaram. You can see Krishna Balaram are so small here, and Arishtasur is so huge and large. He's even looming above the trees of Vrindavan.
That was how huge. The circle marked in yellow, that is Krishna Balaram standing there, and this is Arishtasura, the gigantic form of Arishtasura.
So all the Vrajbasis, when they heard, next slide please, they ran here and there when this gigantic bull came charging. Next slide please. And as it came charging into Vrindavan, they ran to Krishna, Krishna, please save me. Next slide please. They ran to Krishna to save. Then this bull demon, as everyone was running around, fearing Arishtasura, Krishna came. Next slide, please. And he held him, this bull demon, held him by the horn. You can see Krishna is simultaneously taking him to all different places just in a moment. One time he's here, one time he's there. This Arishtasura didn't even realize what's happening. Where is Krishna actually? He's taking me to all these different places. Next slide, please. And then Krishna overpowered this bull demon, broke his horn, and killed him right here. Next slide, please. This pastime took place in the afternoon when Krishna and his coward friends were herding the cattle. Krishna killing Arishtasura. Next slide, please. Arishtasura represents an anartha in our mind. where we are attracted to cheating religion. So Krishna kills that propensity if we chant the holy names and hear this wonderful pastime of Arishtasura. That night, this was in the afternoon, in the night, Krishna went to meet his beloved Srimati Radharani. And Radharani jokingly said, "Don't touch me, because today you have killed a bull. This bull belongs to the cow family. You've committed the sin of killing a cow, so don't touch my pure body." Do you remember around Govardhan Hill? This was a similar situation that happened with Krishna when he manifested Manasi Ganga, when he killed the calf demon, when he killed Vatsasura, the cowherd boy said, you've become impure. So he manifested Manasi Ganga. Now he killed the bull, Arishtasura, and the gopis. And Radharani said, "No, you cannot touch my pure body."
So Krishna, he smilingly replied that the bull was in fact, it was a demon, and you only came running to me to save me, save us, save us. And I killed him, and now you're saying I can't touch you. What is this? Please, please don't do this. And then Krishna, he said, okay, now you tell me, if you're saying that no, I can't touch you, so tell me, how can I get rid of this sin? And then Srimati Radharani said that the only way that you can get rid of your sin is that if you take a bath in all the holy places. No, the cowherd boys had just said Ganga, but Srimati Radharani said you have to go to all the tirthas, all the holy places in the entire creation, and there you have to take bath, and then you come back, you can touch us. Krishna said, Acha, that's what I have to do. Okay. So then Krishna, he said, I'm not going around in all those tirthas. I'll call all the tirthas right here, right now. So Krishna, he just struck his left lotus feet on the ground. And, that's why if you see the shape of Shyama Kunda, it is said that it is in the shape of Krishna's left lotus feet. So Krishna struck the ground with his left lotus feet, and then a beautiful kunda, a sarovara manifested, just the kunda manifested. And then Krishna invoked all the tirthas, the Mahatirthas, everyone. So everyone came, all the tirthas came. And then Krishna said, enter into my kunda. And then all the tirthas, they went into their liquid forms and they entered and filled Krishna's kunda. And then Krishna went in and he took his bath. Next slide, please. So we see here Krishna just manifested Shyama Kunda in this way. So then when Krishna came out after manifesting Shyama Kunda, the gopis and Srimati Radharani, they were so pleased. They came and they were wanting to touch Krishna. Next slide, please. And then Krishna said, no. Now I am pure, but you have become impure. And the gopis said, why? Why have we become impure? Why can't we touch you? Please allow us to touch you. Then Krishna said, you doubted me. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You told me that I am impure, and now you have committed that sin. So now unless you purify yourselves, I will not touch you. So then Radharani and the gopi said, hey Krishna, now what are we supposed to do? So then Krishna said, very simple. I created this kunda, no? Go and take bath in my kunda, and then, your sins will go away. Then we can enjoy our pastimes. Radharani said, gee, we don't want to go and take bath in your kunda. Your kunda has your sins, of killing the bull. It has your sins mixed in it. We won't take bath in your kunda. We will build our own kunda. So right next to Shyama Kunda, Radharani and the gopis, they started building their own kunda. Next slide, please. And then, Radharani said, we will build it on our own. So Krishna said, do you want any help? Radharani said, no. I don't want any help. She took out her bangles. Every of the Sakhi, all of the Sakhis, they took out their bangles. And with the bangles, they started digging into the ground. And they slowly, they made this huge little kunda. And, that was ready. So that's why one of the other names of Radha Kunda is also called as Kangan Kunda. Kangan means bangle. So because Srimati Radharani and the gopis, they dug Radha Kund with their bangles. It's called as Kangan Kund also. So then Krishna said, okay, fine. Now you have dug the kunda. How are you going to fill it with water? Should I tell my tirthas to come into your kunda? They can come and they'll manifest. They'll fill your kunda with water. Said Radha and said, chi, 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 chi. No, 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 no. Your kunda water is sin. It is fully mixed with your sin. I will get the pure waters from Manasi Ganga and I will fill my kunda with the waters of the Manasi Ganga. Next slide, please. So then Srimati Radharani, she arranged her hundreds and thousands of gopis, because from Radha Kund to Manasi Ganga is almost like a 7 to 8 kilometers walk. So Radharani arranged each gopi in line. So one gopi was taking a pot, filling a pot of water, and then they were passing it on, passing it on, passing it on, and then they were finally pouring it into Radha Kund. It was taking such a long time. So seeing all the hard effort, the great effort that the gopis and Srimati Radharani was putting into filling the kunda, Krishna felt very distressed. He cannot see Srimati Radharani, in so much of distress. So then Krishna, he signaled the tirthas. He said, you go. Radharani won't listen to me, but she is very compassionate upon her children. She will listen to you all. You all go and appeal to the most compassionate Srimati Radharani. Next slide, please. So then all the tirthas. Next slide, please. So then all the tirthas, they came and manifested and they begged Srimati Radharani that, please Radhe, please, oh merciful mother, please don't take so much trouble. We are right here. Please give us permission to enter your kunda. Please, that will be our greatest fortune. So Srimati Radharani, she can never refuse when a plea is made like this, with so much sincerity, with so much genuine love. Radharani can never refuse that. So Srimati Radharani, out of her merciful, compassionate nature, next slide please, she smiled at them so beautifully and said, Swagatam, please come. And then all the tirthas, they just came pouring into her kunda. Radharani welcomed them into her kunda, gave them permission to allow and to enter into her kunda. The tirthas were so happy that Srimati Radharani, smiling so enchantingly at them. Next slide, please. We can see the enchanting beauty of Srimati Radharani's compassion. So beautifully compassionate she is that she could not refuse the plea of the tirthas, and she mercifully allowed them to enter into her waters. And at that time, when the Kunda of Radha Kund got filled, Srimati Radharani and the Sakhis, they all entered into Radha Kund to take their bath. They took their bath over there, and while they were taking their bath, Krishna, he could not resist anymore. He saw the beautiful manifestation of this Radha Kund, which was so beautiful, looking so gorgeous, that Krishna also entered into the waters of Sri Radha Kunda. Next slide, please. So then Sri Krishna entered into the waters of Radha Kund. He started, sprinkling water at Radharani, and Radharani was sprinkling water at Krishna. And then Krishna, he just said, my dear Sri Radhe, this kunda of yours is my most favorite, because this is a liquid manifestation of your love. This is your liquid form, Sri Radhe. You have manifested here so beautifully. So I will come here every day to sport in your waters of Sri Radha Kunda. So it was midnight at this time when both these kundas had appeared, and especially Radha Kund appeared exactly at midnight. So that is why we celebrate Sri Bahulashtami, today's day, as the appearance of Sri Radha Kunda, and we take bath in her waters at midnight. So then, hearing the words of Krishna, Srimati Radharani, she told Krishna that, oh Krishna, my dearly beloved Krishna, you are saying your kunda is very dear to, my kunda is very dear to you, but Your Kunda is also very, very dear to me. Let us go and play in your Kunda for some time. Next slide, please. So then Srimati Radharani and Krishna and the gopis, they came to Shyama Kunda. Then they came to Shyama Kunda and they started, doing some nice water pastimes at Shyama Kunda. And Radharani said that this Kunda, my dear Krishna, is extremely dear to me. And then Krishna said, but Radhe, I am missing your Kunda. Let's go back to your Kunda. So then Krishna then took Radharani and the gopis and then again went back to Radha Kunda. And they enjoyed beautiful, beautiful pastimes at Sri Radha Kunda. So this is how the two kundas manifested.
So since these are the places where Radha and Krishna, they performed their most intimate, most sweet pastimes, these kundas are considered to be manifestations, liquid manifestations of their love. Srila Prabhupada says that we should not approach Radha Kunda or Shyama Kunda in a very familiar manner or a light manner. Otherwise, it would be offensive. It would not help us advance in spiritual life. But we should approach these pastimes with great reverence and should not treat them as ordinary or talk about it lightly. But when we enter, we first pay obeisances on the banks. And next slide, please. And chant this wonderful mantra, which Lord Chaitanya recited when he came to Sri Radha Kunda. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnos.
Yatha Radha Priya Vishnos.
Tasyam Kundam Priyam Tatha.
Tasyam Kundam Priyam Tatha.
Sarva Gopishu Saivaika.
Sarva Gopishu Saivaika.
Vishnu Ratyanta Vallabha.
Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha.
This means that just like Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus, just like Radha is very dear to Krishna or Vishnu, Tasyam Kundam Priyam Tatha, in that same way, Radharani's Kunda is also very dear to him. Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha, amongst all the gopis, this is most dear to Vishnu or Krishna.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Kund ki Jai.
Next slide, please. Around Sri Radha Kunda, this is Sri Radha Kund on the left hand side, our left, and on the right is Shyama Kund. And around here, you will see all these different places. There is many beautiful temples, many bhajan places of Goswamis. Raghunath Das Goswami's bhajan kutir is here. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami's bhajan kutir is there. There is samadhis of various Goswamis around this place. Janava Mata's sitting place, Nityananda Prabhu's sitting place is here. And these beautiful temples are surrounding Sri Shyama Kund and Radha Kund. Next slide, please.
So this was when we visited Sri Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. So you can see we are offering our obeisances with my parents here. Prabhu is deeply praying here at Sri Radha Kund to Srimati Radharani. So this is the way we should, we should offer our obeisances before we even, touch the waters of Sri Radha Kund, because this is the liquid manifestation of Srimati Radharani. So, and we should never swim in the waters. We should not frolic in the waters. We should be very respectful when we are here inside. So when we actually take the bath at midnight, we will do this entire routine again. So next slide, please.
Also, there are big, big tortoises in Radha Kunda, even in Kusum Sarovar, it seems. But here also there are big tortoises which can easily catch someone's leg and pull them down. But of course, out of respect, we'll see many Brajbasis. Sometimes they do some boating here and all of that. But that may be something different. We can only take sprinkled water and not put our foot in Sri Radha Kunda.
And when we take bath, there's a procedure how we take bath. So when we take bath at midnight, we will tell the procedure. Next slide, please.
So here in 2019, Bahulashtami, we recited Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha at the banks of Radha Kunda 108 times, and we'll sing Radha Kripa Kataksha today as well. There is a lot of glories of someone who actually enters, Radha Kunda and speaks and chants this Radha Kripa Kataksha with uh, you know with the till the knees, till the navel, like that. But we don't want to enter, so that's why we are putting gamchas with Radha Kund water and putting on our leg and replenishing it in between. So next slide, please. This was very blissful. It took us about 4 hours, 6 hours to actually chant 108 times Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha.
So this is the scene at midnight. So now we are requesting everyone that this is the midnight time. It is time for us to take bath. So let us first offer lamp like Aarti. Let us offer Aarti here at the midnight. We are, it is the appearance of Sri Radha Kunda, Sri Bahulashtami ki jai. And then, there's the bell that rings. It rings exactly, 12 times before it is exactly 12 o'clock. And at 12, people enter into the waters. So when we enter, before entering, we sprinkle the water on our head, and then we take bath inside Radha Kund. Just take 3 dips inside Radha Kund. And while we are doing that, we can collect the waters of Radha Kund in our hand. Again, chant the mantra, Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Stasyam Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Ratyanta Vallabha, and pour it back into her. So this is the way Mahaprabhu taught us how to take bath. And then coming out from Radha Kunda, just like how Krishna took bath, same way we will do. So Radha Kund we dipped, and now we'll go and dip one time in Shyama Kund. Same way we enter into Shyama Kund. Let us offer obeisances, and then just very respectfully dip into the waters of Shyama Kund, offer oblations of the water into the Shyama Kund, then offer our obeisances, come out, and again come into Radha Kund, again take 3 dips into Radha Kund, and then again water oblations into the Radha Kund. This completes our Radha Kund Snan on this most auspicious day of Shri Bahulashtami. Shri Radha Kund appearance Tithi ki jai.
Next slide, please. And then when we are blessed with spiritual vision, actually we will be allowed to see the beauty of these wonderful kundas. It's said that surrounding Shyama Kunda, actually there are 8 forest groves of the 8 principal sakhas of Krishna. And surrounding Sri Radha Kunda are 8 forest groves of the principal sakhis of Srimati Radharani. And in between Sri Radha Kunda is the most enchanting kunja. Kunja means forest grove, built with white diamonds, blue sapphires. It's the grove of Srimati Ananga Manjiri. Her grove forms actually a bridge between Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda. Actually, if you see, Lord Balaram is participating in all the rasas of Sri Krishna. Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakhyaras, Vatsalyaras, because in Shantaras he's the Mridanga and he's the manifestation of all the spiritual paraphernalia. In Dasyaras, he serves Krishna. In Sakhyaras, he is friend of Krishna. In Vatsalyaras, he is the elder brother of Krishna. In Dasyaras, he's like Lakshman. And so, but in Madhuryaras, how does Balaram participate in Madhuryaras? He cannot be present himself in the Madhuryaras because Srimati Radharani becomes very shy in front of Lord Balaram because she respects him as her elder brother. And so, as not to embarrass her, Sri Balaram manifests himself as Sri Ananga Manjari, who is the younger sister of Sri Radha in pastimes of Krishna.
So the one in the center that we see here, holding the jewel box, that is Shri Ananga Manjari Sakhi. Jai Shri Ananga Manjari Balaram Ji Ki Jai. Next slide, please. So in the grove of Ananga Manjari, next slide, please. Shri Radha Krishna enjoy the most intimate and the most beautiful of all pastimes. Ananga Manjari arranges all the pastimes at Shri Radha Kunda for the divine couple. Next slide, please. There's a very beautiful pastime at Sri Radha Kunda, which we would like to share with you. That there was one time Shri Radha and Krishna, they were roaming around Sri Radha Kunda. They were just, walking around Radha Kunda. And there, Krishna and Srimati Radharani from a distance saw that Radharani actually saw that there was a blind old, Vaishnava who was sitting and he was just chanting the holy names. And Srimati Radharani told Krishna that, my dear sweet Lord Krishna, please, can you go and give your mercy to this little, this sincere Vaishnava? Please, I want you to go and give your mercy to him. So Krishna, he said, oh, my dear Swamini ji, your wish is my command. You want me to go and give the mercy to him? I will definitely go. Next slide, please. So Krishna, he came and he started talking to this old blind Vaishnava. And he said in a very sweet voice, like a little boy, Krishna spoke to this blind old man. He said, my dear devotee, what are you doing here? Why don't you open your eyes? Why don't you open your eyes and you can see? And then the old man said, why are you, doing like this? You know that I cannot see. I cannot just see. I am blind. So then Krishna said, actually, I've been ordered by my Thakurani. My Swamini has ordered me to come and, talk to you and give you mercy. And when Krishna was speaking very sweetly like this, at that time, Srimati Radharani, who was sitting at a distance watching this entire scene, she started giggling. Next slide, please. She started giggling. So Radharani is watching like this and she's giggling. Like that, she giggled. And when she giggled, this old Vaishnava, he heard and he could recognize the beautiful giggling of Srimati Radharani. And then that old man told, he could immediately understand that this is none other than Krishna. And that giggling sound is of Sri Radhe. So this old Vaishnava told Krishna that you want me to open my eyes, my dear Lord, then bring your Swamini in front of you. Bring your Swamini with you. I will open my eyes. And then I can see both of you. Go and bring your Radha. Krishna was only referring to Srimati Radharani as his Swamini. But then, this old man said, go and bring Radharani. Then I will open my eyes. And then Srimati Radharani, hearing this, she, was very surprised and she came running and she came and stood next to Krishna. Next slide, please. And when she came and stood next to Krishna, this old Brahmana, he opened his eyes, and this is the beautiful form of Sri Radha and Krishna that this old man took darshan, this old Vaishnava took darshan of this beautiful, enchanting form of Sri Radha and Krishna. And then Srimati Radharani asked that old Vaishnava that, my dear Vaishnava, how did you know that it is us? How did you know? So then this old Vaishnava started laughing and he said, well, by the naughty words, the sweet naughty words of Krishna, I could, guess that this is Krishna. But my dear Swaminiji, when you giggled, I could understand that you and your, Thakurji have come. Thakurji and Thakuraniji have come to give me darshan. So by your giggle, I could understand that you both have come. So therefore, as is said in the Gopi Geet, that Krishna's sweet words, his sweet talks are so nectarian that just by remembering these beautiful pastimes, we can immerse ourselves in, complete, bliss of Krishna and his leelas with Srimati Radharani. Like the gopis say in verse 7, Madhuraya Gira Valguvakyaya Buddhamanognaya Pushkarikshana Vidhikaririma Viramuyati Adharasi Thuna Pyayayasvana. Jai Shri Radha Thakurani Ji ki Jai. Jai Shri Thakur Ji Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. Shri Shyama Kund Shri Radha Kund ki Jai.
Next slide, please. So now we continue the very last leg of our Giriraj Parikrama and we perform Kirtan before we come back to our campsite where we had started our Parikrama. We offer our obeisances to Sri Giriraj for allowing us to successfully complete this Sri Giriraj Parikrama ki Jai.
So let us offer our obeisances at the ending point, which was our starting point. Thus, we are completing the entire circle of the Parikrama.
Namaste Girirajaya
Govardhanai Namine Ashesha Kleshana Shaya Paramanandadaine.
Next slide, please. So we completed the Govardhan Parikrama today. Congratulations to everyone. Next slide, please. These are all the temples and different places that we went today. Next slide, please. And thus we end day 2 of Sri Giriraj Parikrama. We went to Puchri, Lota Baba Temple, Uddhava Kunda, Sri Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda, and then completed Sri Giriraj Parikrama ki
Jai. Haribo.
So today
we can end the slideshow here, please.
And we will sing Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha in glorification of Sri Radha Kunda. There is a lot of glorification of Sri Radha Kunda. It is said that this is composed by Lord Shiva and compiled by Raghunath Das Goswami. Says, upon hearing this most astonishing prayer of Radha Kripa Kataksha, of mine being recited by a devotee, may Sri Vrishabhanu Nandini constantly make him the object of her most merciful sidelong glance. At that time, all his karmic reactions, whether mature, fructifying, or lying in seed, will be completely destroyed. And then he will gain entrance into the assembly of Nandanandana's eternal associates.
If a sadhaka with purified intelligence recites this tava with a fixed mind on the lunar days known as the full moon day, the bright Ashtami, the Dashami, Ekadashi, and the Trayodashi, then each and every one of his desires will be fulfilled one by one. And by the merciful sidelong glance of Sri Radha, he will obtain devotional service that has the special symptom of being imbued with pure ecstatic love of God. So we are reading the Falastuti, which is from text 13 to text 19. The last of the few verses, they are the Falastuti, means what is the benefit of reciting these verses. So text 16 and 17 says,
that sadhaka who recites this tava 100 times while standing in the waters of Sri Radhakunda up to his thighs, navel, chest, or neck will attain complete perfection of 5 goals of human existence, namely dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, and prema. He also will attain the power by which everything he says will come true. He becomes very powerful and opulent due to attaining transcendental majesty. He gets to meet Sri Radhika face to face, seeing her even with his present eyes.
Text 18. By such chanting of this prayer in Radha Kunda, Sri Radhika becomes so pleased that she instantly bestows a great benediction on the devotee, which is that he sees her beloved Shyama Sundara with his or her own very eyes.
Then that Lord of Vrindavan grants the devotee entrance into his eternal pastimes. Genuine Vaishnavas hanker for nothing beyond this.
Haribol. So we will sing the first 12 verses because 13 to 19 is the Falastuti. So we will sing the 1 to 12 verses, which is called as the Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraja. This is from the Uddhava Amnaya Tantra, which is spoken by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva himself has written this. It is spoken to Parvati Devi and it has been compiled by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami.
Munindra Vrindavandite Trilokashokari Prasannavatra Pankaje Nikunjabu Vilasini Vrajendra Maluna Devi Vrajendra Sangate Kada Kanisha Sirama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Ashoka Vriksha Vallari Vidana Mandavastite Pravana Vana Pallava Prabharunanti Omane Varabhaya Suradhare Prabhuta Sampadalaye Kadagarisha Sivama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Anangaranga Mandala Prasanga Bhangu Savikravam Sasambramam Drigantavana Patanai Nirantaram Vashikrita Pratidinam Dandane Kadagarish Sivama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Tadit Suvarna Champaka Pradipta Gora Vigrahe Mukha Prabha Parastakoti Sharandu Mandale Vichitra Chitra Shankara Chatur Shamalochane Kadakarisha Sivama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Madon Madati Lokale Pramodamana Vandite Priyanurada
धन्य कुञ्जराज्य कामके कोविदे कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्ष भाजनम् अशेषावधावधीर हीरहार भूषिते प्रभुदशात कुम्भ सुस्तरी प्रशस्तमन्दहास्य चूर्ण पूर्ण सौख्य सागरे कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्ष भाजनम् मृणालवालो वल्लरी तरङ्गरङ्ग दोर्लटे लताग्रलास्य लोलनीर लोचनावलोकने ललालुलन् विलन्मनोज्ञ मुग्धमोहनाश्रिते कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्ष भाजनम् सुवर्णमल्लिकाञ्चिता त्रिरेखाकम्बुकण्ठगे मुक्सूत्रमङ्गलीगुणा त्रिरत्नदीप्ति सलोलनीलकुञ्चला प्रसूनगुच्छ गुम्फिते कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्ष भाजनम् नितम्बबिम्बलम्बमान पुष्पमेखलागुणे प्रशस्तरत्न किङ्किणी कलापमध्य मञ्जुले करीन्द्रशुण्ड दण्डिका वरोहशोभ गोरुखे कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्ष भाजनम् अनेकमन्त्र नादभञ्जु नूपुरारम्भस्खला समाजराज हंसवंश नीक्मनाति गौरवे विलोलहे वल्लरी विडम्बिचारु चङ्क्रमे कदा करिष्यसि मम कृपाकटाक्ष भाजनम् अनन्तकोटि Himadrija Pulomaja Virinchaja Prade Aparasi Kritika Satpada Gulinakhe Kada Karish Sihama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Makheshwari Kriyeshwari Swadheshwari Sudeshwari Triveda Bharatishwari Pramana Shashaneshwari Rameshwari Shameshwari Pramodakaradeshwari Vrajeshwari Vrajadhipe Shri Radhike Namostate Rameshwari Shameshwari Pramodakaradeshwari Vrajeshwari Vrajadhipe Shri Radhike Namostate.
Jai Shri Radha Kripa Katakshi ki
Jai
Srimati Radharani ki
Jai
Shri Radha Kunda ki
Jai
Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki
Jai
Shri Shyama Kunda ki
Jai
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai
Srila Gurudev.
Jai.
All right, so we'll now open for any questions. Before that, we'll read the quiz questions for today, if we have them. Okay.
We'll wait for them.
Wait for the.
But Garima?
Yeah.
Garima, you want to speak? Hare Krishna. Oh, the quiz questions are right here.
Oh, okay.
It was not letting me unmute.
Oh, okay, beta. Sorry about that. Please go ahead.
Yeah. I just feel we went around whole Govardhan, and it was just so fun. We're going to everywhere.
Thank you. Thank you.
We went to Radhakund and Shamakund. I did my new japa beads in there.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. Thank you, beta.
Yes, so I have two questions.
Okay.
Yeah, what does Madhav mean?
Madhava.
Yeah.
Madhava literally, Srila Prabhupada translates that Madhava means the husband of the goddess of fortune. And it also means one who has killed the Madhu demon. He's also called Madhava. Or he's also called Madhusudana, but he's also called as Madhava. Or he is the Lord who is the master of all sweetness, Madhu. You know, the sweet Lord is called as Madhava. So like this. This is the understanding.
Yeah. And I have another one that what was it? Yeah, how many names does Krishna have?
What do you think? What is your guess?
I don't know. I don't have any guess.
Krishna has unlimited names.
What?
He cannot be counted. With every pastime of Krishna, he has a name. Everything he does, he has a name. So, like if he's bound by Mother Yashoda, he's called Damodar. If he steals butter, he's called Makhanchor. He gives pleasure to Nanda Maharaj, he's called Nanda Nandana. He gives pleasure to Yashoda Devi, he's called Yashoda Nandana. He kills Madhu demon, he's called Madhava or Madhusudana. He is
If he kills, if
so
he
many
kills,
different, hundreds, unlimited names Krishna has. Countless names, you cannot even count.
Ananta Shesh, it is said that Ananta Shesh, with his unlimited hoods, he is trying to, chant all the glories of Krishna, all the pastimes of Krishna, but it is not ending. Till today, Ananta Shesh has not been able to complete. So, that's how we understand that Krishna's, just like his pastimes are unlimited, Krishna's names are also unlimited.
so how now, like in Dwarka, how many coins does Krishna have?
You
16?
remember that?
16 something?
16,000. Yes. 16,108.
That's what I was thinking. 100 is in the last, and I don't know the middle.
16,108.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Haribol.
Haribo, beta. Kirti?
Thank you.
Okay. Before that, let's recite the quiz questions.
Oh, yes.
Then we'll
We'll
take
come
questions
to
from
Kirti.
Kirti. First, name Krishna's friend who is waiting for the Lord to return from Mathura. Second, what's the name of the bull demon?
Third, how did Radha Kunda and Shyama Kunda manifest? Fourth, what's the other name of Radha Kunda?
Fifth, how does Giriraj Govardhan look like and what place represent his eyes? Sixth, whose expansion is Ananga Manjari?
Seventh, how did Bilva Mangala Thakura receive Lord Krishna's mercy? Eighth, what's the verse recited while taking bath in Radha Kunda? So these are the 8 questions that we have here for all of you. Thank you so much for these questions. Kirti. You can unmute yourself, Peter. Kirti. Are you being allowed to? Can we allow Kirti to unmute herself, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna.
all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga.
Hare
Um,
Krishna.
I really liked today's class, especially because today's the appearance day of Radhakund. It was really nice to go to Radhakund today. So I have 2 questions today. What is Srimati Radharani's bird's name?
Srimati Radharani's bird's name. Bird? She has many kinds of birds, but one of them is Shuka and Sari. The parrots are called as Shuka and Sari.
And I have one more question. So so when I was reading one sloka, I think it's in the shastras. It said it's not that recommended that we have any pets or anything, because when they leave their body, we have to take their sins. So if you have a pet, you can give them like Krishna Prasad, and you could give them Krishna consciousness, and you're basically giving Krishna consciousness to more living entities. Why is that still not recommended? If we're still giving, like, maybe we can chant Hare Krishna Mamatar before the dog or something, and maybe we can give Krishna Prasad to the dog. Why is it still like not recommended?
Well, many devotees do have pets nowadays, and only concern is if they want to eat, if they have to, for their subsistence, if they have to be fed non-vegetarian food, then it becomes a little difficult for devotees to maintain that. If you can give prasadam and they can subsist with that without any, any health problems to them, because some may have that particular diet as in that animal body. So that becomes an issue with the devotees. Another one is we we are careful from the pastime of Bharat Maharaj when he tried to take care of a deer, then he became so attached to it that when he left his body, he was thinking of the deer, and guess what body he got in the next life? A deer's body. But he was fortunate because he was at the level of bhava. He could then, still remember his past lives, and he advanced and progressed from there. But what if we leave our body being attached to the pet, thinking of the pet at the last time, and then we get that body? That's what we these are some of the concerns that devotees have. But if someone is like really wants to, and yeah, I guess then we can see the positive side of it, which is you are chanting Hare Krishna to them. You are doing it, doing a living entity a benefit. They hear kirtans, they see Radha Krishna's photos and things like that. Definitely, it's a benefit for them, as long as we don't
compromise
our sadhana and our principles to take care of the pet.
And also, of course, we don't want to interfere with mommy and daddy's parenting with you. So, if you feel that you will not become too attached, you will have your attachment to Krishna, and you'll not get overly attached to the pet, and it will not disturb you, just like it happened with Bharat Maharaj. That's the only caution. It's a caution, it's a precaution that devotees need to take, because devotees just need to build their attachment to Guru and Krishna. So if we have and we try to cut down all the other attachments, we try to cut it down. But yes, even if you don't have a pet, you might want to just there are many devotees who go out, like especially in India, there's a facility of distributing prasadam to the animals there. Of course, here in the US we don't have that much facility to do that, but yeah, so something like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji and Prabhuji. I really also like the Radha Kripa Kataksh. You both sing it very nicely. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji, for a beautiful session. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Beta. Thank you so much, Kirti. Bhakti Priya?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Beta.
And I have one question. Lord Nrsingadev appeared in Satyuga, and Ramachandra appeared in Treta Yuga, and Lord Krishna himself appeared in Dwapar Yuga, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Kali Yuga. Then what about Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadramai? In which yuga he appeared?
They appeared in Treta Yuga because they are Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra. Dwapar Yuga, sorry. I mean, as Dwapar Yuga of a previous one, maybe, it's said that, this temple is being here, Jagannath temple, since Satya Yuga. But so in a previous Dwapar Yuga, when Krishna appeared, at that time the snapshot was taken of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra with their eyes open and in ecstasy, hearing their own pastimes.
So, yeah. They again remanifested themselves in Kali Yuga. Of course, the temple has been there since that time, but the deities again remanifested themselves in the beginning of Kali Yuga.
Oh, okay, Mataji. I thought it's Satyuga. Then Lord Jagannatha didn't appear in Satyuga.
Lord Jagannath is eternal, better. One thing we must understand is that Lord Jagannath is eternal. So he manifests and unmanifests many times during the different yugas. So Lord Jagannath, just like how Krishna is, different temples, different places, he manifests and unmanifests at different times. Okay?
Okay, Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
So we have a question from Anju Agarwal that Brajvasis say that we cannot carry any, Giriraj Shila outside of Braj, as he always wants to stay in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Is it true? Because I wanted, Giriraj in my altar in Bangalore, but my mom refused. Okay, so regarding that,
it is said that unless a Brajbasi gives us Giriraj Shila, we should not just pick Giriraj Shila and take with us, because it's very inauspicious, and a lot of some devotees have had experience of inauspicious situations in their life because they did that, and then they were advised to go and keep the Giriraj Shila back in Govardhan. But if a Brajbasi gives us a Govardhan Shila, and also it's said that in return we give that much gold, then we can bring Giriraj Shila and worship. Um, but that's why a lot of devotees have Shaligram Shilas. Very few have Giriraj Shila unless they are given by a Brajbasi, and we have given something in return
To the
to the
Brajbasis.
Brajbasi.
So that's the general recommended process. Rushan Prabhu?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. I had a question regarding previous discussion. So it was like we had discussed that Vajranabha had installed the deities of Hari Devji, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to say that during that time Krishna was not here, right? So it is said that when Krishna was in Dwarka, so at that time every Yadu were destroyed or they were killed. So how did Vajranabha was there?
Oh, uh, so all the Yadavas, they were fighting with each other. They fought with each other in Prabhas Kshetra, but their families were back in Dwarka. So their wives and children, they were there. And Krishna actually asked Arjuna to take them, all of the Dwarka Vasis, to take them to Mathura back, or Hastinapur actually. A lot of them went to Hastinapur with Arjuna because Dwarka, he said Dwarka is going to go underwater. So he took all the uh, children, grandchildren, and the other family members of those who were remaining to Hastinapur, and uh, his great grandson Vajranab was installed as the king of Mathura. At the same time, when Maharaj Parikshit was coronated as the emperor of Hastinapur, in Hastinapur. And then Maharaj Parikshit and Vajranab, they worked together to bring back the glory of Vrindavan Dham, because everyone in Vrindavan had also left back home, back to Godhead. So that's the pastime of Vajranab, installing all these wonderful deities.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, also I wanted to ask that you said that you are going to discuss regarding Narad Kunda.
Oh, yes, because of the Narad Kunda, it is actually, Narad Kunda is the place where Narad Muni sat and wrote Narada Bhakti Sutra in Vrindavan Dham. So yes, we did skip that because, there are many, many kundas actually around Sri Giriraj. So if we have to cover that, all of them, then it would take us too much time. So therefore, we, did not cover that in, but Narad Kunda is the place where Narada Muni sat and he wrote Narada Bhakti Sutra.
Okay, Mataji, and also my mother wanted to ask one question that she is saying that everyone wears the clothes which has Krishna printed in it. So should we wear it or not?
It's a very, very good question, Prabhu, because, sometimes when we are offering our obeisances, especially, we are offering our obeisances, Krishna's, form is touching the ground. So that sometimes can be very offensive, So we should be careful that we should try to avoid, wearing even the, there are some prints of, Sri Radhe, kurtas, or Sri Krishna written, or different other things written. So we must be very careful when we touch the ground with such writings or such, pictures of Krishna. So we must be careful about it.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. And there are many questions today, sorry. And
No,
also, I had a question that should we take bath in Radha Kunda?
yes, the process that we recommended, we should not swim in the waters, like how we should not, like Prabhupada said, that we should be very, very careful, very respectful when we are taking our bath. If we are staying in Vrindavan, then there are Brajvasis who take bath in the Radha Kund every single day. But when we visit Radha Kund maybe once a year, once every 2 years, maybe, we should take bath, but we should do it in a very respectful way, just like how Lord Chaitanya taught us, like how we explained today in the class. So that is the way we take bath, and that is the recommended way, and it's okay to do that.
Okay, Mataji, because I heard from devotees that we should not take bath as our feet touches the Radha Kunda
That is the reason
water.
why that is the reason why I said that we follow the process, the recommended process of following of how to take bath in the Radha Kund. And if you do it in that proper way, with that proper mood, then it's perfectly all right.
Okay, Mataji, and one more question, last question regarding previous one. That you said that Balramji was having Varuni in his hand.
Mhm.
And also in this Damodar Ashtakam, I heard the Damodar Leela, so it was saying that the Nalkur and Manigri were also intoxicated with Varuni. So is it intoxicated?
They were intoxicated with Somaras, not Varuni. Varuni is the drink only of Lord Balaram. And Varuni is nothing but honey. It's just honey. That's all it is. It's sweet nectarian honey. And Lord Balaram, because he's so infused with love for Krishna, that he would get intoxicated just by, and intoxication doesn't mean how we know intoxication in the material sense. This intoxication is spiritual intoxication. But what Nalakuber and Manigriv drank was somaras. That is the intoxication that the heavenly planet, the denizens of the heavenly planets, they drink that. That is like liquor. It is like liquor, but it is of a very high range, very high, how should I say, very heavenly kind of a drink. That is somaras. That's how it's called. That's what is described.
Okay, thank you very much, Mataji and Prabhuji, for answering so silly and
No,
many
no,
questions.
no, silly, not at all. One thing we wanted to mention during the Radha Kund Snan, which we forgot to mention this my mother had mentioned to us when she had gone for Vrajamandal Parikrama in the year 2002. At that time, she had said that, and devotees can witness this, and since the time I had heard from her, we wanted to also witness this, that, when devotees are sitting around Radha Kund, waiting to take bath at 12 o'clock in the midnight, at that time, Radha Kund, there'll be people who are sitting next to us. There'll be not even a space of, even a hair to pass by, that much of, they're like clustered, so many thousands upon thousands of people. All the steps all around Radha Kund is filled. So when the last bell is rung, at that time, everyone enters the water. There's no accident, nothing happens. And then when we take our dip, and then when we come out, those thousands of people, we don't find them anymore. So Srila Radharaman Maharaj, he explains to us, he said that actually the devatas, the demigods, they come from the heavenly planets. They come during this muhurta of Bahulashtami to take bath at Radhakund. And as soon, they may be, that's why whenever we are sitting at Radhakund, we don't know who is sitting next to us. Could be a demigod, So they are sitting next to us, and as soon as they finish the bath, they probably ascend back to the heavenly planets. So it's a miraculous thing that happens every year at Sri Radhakund on Bahulashtami Day. So we wanted to share that as well.
Krishna
Thank you.
Mataji, also I wanted to ask that I've heard that during the month of Kartika, milk comes from Radha Kund water. Is it true?
Actually, it is said that Sri Radhakund, because Manasi Ganga, remember, Manasi Ganga's waters are actually mixed with the milk and the yogurt that fell into the Manasi Ganga. So Manasi Ganga is said to have a lot of milk in it. So when the gopis had brought Manasi Ganga's waters, it had milk. in it, and that's why it's also called as Dudh Kunda. And it seems that when the Kunda is, excavated again and it's cleaned up once every 8-9 years, they see the the center Kunda, it is filled with milk. It is always filled with milk. It's miraculous, but it is like that.
Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji and Prabhuji.
There is a question, where is Narada Kunda located? It is between Kusum Sarovar and Manasi Ganga.
Then there was a question.
Shalmali.
Yeah.
Where is Shalmali Dvipa? Shalmali Dvipa is another realm. It's like in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it explains about Jambu Dvipa, and then there are 7 Dvipas. This Jambu Dvipa is surrounded by ocean of salt, and then the Shalmali Dvipa is another realm in this universe, but we cannot actually access it. But it's in this universe. It's another realm. It's surrounded by the ocean of sugarcane juice. And then there are other dvipas which are surrounded by ocean of milk. They are surrounded by ocean of liquor. So many different, in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is described. So it's another realm.
The parallel universe.
Parallel universe.
Parallel universe.
For more details, refer to 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you so much for that question. Any more questions? Vrinda Mataji, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, you can please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Prabhuji, Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Shri Shyama Kunda, Shri Radha Kunda ki jai. Mataji, we are not qualified to enter in Shridham Vrindavan Dham. Shri Shyam Kunda, Radha Kunda is the very far, but because of your lotus feet and mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Shri Radha Gopinath, we all meet you and get such a strong association, Mataji, that we feel that in this Kartik month we are sitting here by Shri Radha Kunda, Shyam Kunda, Radhanath Maharaj, Jaipataka Maharaj, Sachidananda Maharaj, Niranjan Maharaj, all senior brahmachari, Brijvasi. We are taking like a bath in Shri Achman in Shri Radha Kund, Shri Shyama Kunda, Shri Govardhan Parikrama Mataji, Shri Mansi Sarovar, Snan, Uddhava Kunda, Lota Baba, and also Mataji, Shri Shyam Kunda, Shri Radha Kunda, Gop Gopinath, Govardhan Dham, Mayapur Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Mataji, when you are narrating the Leelas, Mataji, we are not qualified. Please trust us. We are not qualified, but we visualize that Leelas, Mataji, that much potency, because your sadhana is so strong, Mataji, and how nicely you narrating the Ananga Manjari Leela, and that Balramji is coming in the Ananga Manjari mood and always so like Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani to arrange to meet Shri Radha Rani and Shri Shyama Sundar together in a nearby Shri Shyam Kund, Radha Kunda. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam to your seva. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Last Mataji, you sing so nicely. Kada Karesh Shyamam Krupa Kataks Bhajamam. Sri Radha Krupa Kataks ki jai. Today only my family will offer Shri Jagannath Balram Subhadra and Shri Gaur Nitai Chandra, Shri Laddu Gopal. This I have seen Shri Kopika, my daughter say, Mama, Kalasudha Mataji is there. And we offer you sing Shri Radha Krupa Kataksa. We offer to Shri Nitai Chandra. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Behalf of all Vaishnava Mataji, Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
Mataji,
Yes.
I'm Bhakti Priya.
Yes.
Mataji, and you told that in Dwapar Yuga Jagannath appeared. Then in starting of Dwapar Yuga or ending? Which
When
time?
Krishna Balaram,
When Krishna and Balaram were here, that was almost the end of Dwapar Yuga. After Krishna left, Kali Yuga started. Kali Yuga started coming in. So it was end of Dwapar Yuga.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
very good.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all good Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Yeah.
Please accept my obeisances. Thank you so much for wonderful class. It was very nectarian. I have a question, Mataji. I know it's a silly question, but I know I've been to Govardhan Hill, but I always wonder that hill is supposed to be in form of like a hill, mountain, right? But when I see Govardhan from far, I see it's more like a down. It's not pointy hill, and it's more like a flat and going down. But I always wonder that how these kundas are a part of hill, even though I know, okay, kundas are on hill, but somehow I do not tend to understand the fact. If you can explain me that, because if I don't understand that, I'm not able to explain Garima also how it is.
Sure, sure. No, very nice question. The answer is there in the yesterday's session that we were speaking about, that Giriraj was so huge when he first came. He was 80, I think it was said that it was 80 kilometers, in height. Huge. He was huge. I mean, he would really touch almost the heavenly planets. He was really, really big and very, very big. So then Pulastya, Pulastya Muni cursed Giriraj, and he has been going down, 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 and also reducing this way, reducing this way. So when he's reducing, he's going below the earth, just like Mother Saraswati is said to, become Antardhyan. So Giriraj is also going down like that. And then, the kundas, they are there, and Giriraj is actually below them also, like that. That's how we understand it.
So when Giriraj was in its full glory, when Krishna was present, these kundas were actually on Giriraj in one sense. And that's why they are part of the Giriraj Parikrama. It's not like these kunda have to be inside Giriraj hill, or that you have to, they are the foothills of Giriraj
Today,
and the Giriraj is also reducing in size. So maybe 100 years later, uh, unfortunately, we may not be able to see Giriraj at all. And then people would say, oh, this is a huge hill. And people would say, what huge hill? This is just all ground here. What hill? What parikrama you're asking us to do of the Giriraj hill? But we are fortunate that at least we are able to see it, some hill form right now. He was huge at that time, but he is reducing. So at that 100 years later, your question will be much more valid, and the answer will be the same, that in its full glory, they were all part of Giriraj.
So these kundas, are on the corners, like are
Yes.
around the Giriraj.
Yes.
They are not on Giriraj. Even when Krishna was there
no.
on
When
this planet.
Krishna was there, what Prabhu is explaining is that when Krishna was present, these kundas were on Giriraj. And then Giriraj went, kept going down. Imagine.
So now they are at the foothills.
So now they have appeared on the foothills because Giriraj went down. So, they have now come on the foothills level.
They were on Giriraj, on the edge, if you could say, geographically. I mean, if you want to ask, if you want to understand these kind of questions, then many people ask, how did Krishna lift Giriraj Govardhan? Did he dig his hand inside, and then did he lift it like this, or did it just come like this? How did it then? What about so yeah, there are all these geographical questions, but some of these things we accept it that Krishna can do anything. And so in that sense, yes, I mean, it's difficult to actually say where they were located when Giriraj was in its full glory, but they are considered to be a part of Giriraj and Giriraj Parikrama.
Okay, and 1 minute, Garima. And like you also mentioned, and we have heard that we do not step on Giriraj. So when we are going to these kundas, are we not stepping on Giriraj since
No,
they are
we're not.
part of it? Or
No, we're
and
not.
also wherever we are going in Giriraj, all the parts. So I really don't understand. Like Prabhu said, not to be very. Sometimes we have to accept the fact, but sometimes I get a little confused. So where we are walking is, are we not
We
walking
are
on
still
Giriraj?
walking on the sides of Giriraj.
Sides
We
of
are doing the
I,
parikrama of the sides.
Circumambulate.
Okay.
Not going on top of or not climbing the hill.
Even though Giriraj is sinking, but still he's sinking at that same place, right? So we are, even when we are circumambulating Radhakund, Shamkund, we are not going, on top of Giriraj. We are not doing that. But when we are entering into the waters of Radhakund, that's why we are just offering our obeisances and then entering very carefully, like that.
I wanted to
Wait,
tell
give me 2
you
minutes. Okay, go ahead.
that no, this Govardhan Hill, he likes, no, he goes down each day one mustard seed.
Rivo, yes.
Very nice. Thank you, Vita.
And Prabhuji, I have a question. Somehow I was a little bit busy when you were explaining the Govardhan Shila just now to Prabhuji. I heard quite a bit part of it, but I wanted to understand when you say, like, I have seen devotees having Govardhan Shila at their house, but never understood the concept. It so the Brajvasi pick up the rock from the Govardhan Shila and then they start worshipping it as a Govardhan, or like what is the actual like what
Yeah.
is Govardhan Shila exactly?
Govardhan Shila is one of the Shila means rock from Govardhan Hill. Because Krishna manifested as Govardhan, and he said Anyor, Anyor. So Govardhan is Krishna and his great devotee as well. So when we worship any one pebble or a rock or anything from Govardhan, that is worshipping Krishna because he manifested as Govardhan. Plus, we worship Govardhan Hill in that Shila because it is also a great devotee, Krishna. So both Govardhan is. And it is said that unless a Vrajbasi gives us, we should not just go and then pick up a Govardhan Shila and say, okay, now I'll bring it and I'll worship. A Vrajbasi has the adhikar, and then he gives us that to worship, then we can worship. But it is said that we have to give back something of the same weight in gold. That's why there is Govardhan Ashram. When Srila Tamal Krishna Maharaj received a Giriraj Shila, he brought to Houston, but he built an like an ashram there at the foothills of Govardhan in reciprocation of that Shila.
Okay, Prabhu. And Prabhu, Govardhan Shila, I have seen sometimes people have two Shilas, devotees have, and then they dress up, one as Radha and one as Krishna. Like they decorate them also nicely. But if you can a little bit explain me the concept, what is the concept behind it?
They worship them as Gandharvika Giridhari. As Gandharvika Giridhari, So that again is in the hands of the Brajbasis. The Brajbasis are able to give us and tell us that, okay, this is the Shila manifesting the mood of Srimati Radharani. So the Brajbasis tell us that. So, the devotees, they'll see that, there's a distinctly whitish complexion in the Gandharvika, manifestation of Srimati Radharani, and Giriraj, Gandharvika Giridhari will have, the blackish kind of complexion, although they are Giriraj Shilas. So that's how they worship Radha and Krishna, through Giriraj Shila also.
Sometimes Krishna Balaram.
Yeah, sometimes
Giriraj
Krishna
Shila.
Balaram also. So many, it's just up to the Vasis in what mood they receive, and they explain when they give the Shila to the devotees, they explain that this is Krishna, this is Balaram, or this is Gandharvika, this is Giridhari, like that.
Okay. And is their worship almost equivalent to Shaligram Shila worship, or the standards is higher for one or the other?
Basically, for Giriraj Shila, if we uh, do Abhishek every day, offer Tulasi, paint him, and Bhoga, that is his worship.
Lots of bhogas, lots of
Bhoga.
laddus.
Because he says Aniyor with Tulasi.
So he loves to eat.
Okay.
Abhishek,
Thank you
like that, press.
Thank you so much for your
so much.
beautiful
I'm
questions. Thank
explaining
you.
the whole concept, because I've seen at devotees' houses, but never understood. Even first time when I saw, I was thinking, okay, so some worshipable deities there, he's wearing a turban, they have eyes, nose, but I really don't understand what form is it. And why do they do it? I didn't even understand. But as I'm attending your classes and hearing more Krishna Katha, clearing the doubts, it's giving more and more clear understanding about everything. Thank you so much. We are very grateful to
Thank
you.
you, Champaka. Thank you so much. Haribol. Haribol. Jamuna?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Danvat Pranam, all goes to Prabhupada. Thank you so much for a wonderful, class and clearing the doubts and question. So many times there are so many things which get answered through the others' question. Like today, Kirti Sri asked wonderful question of attachment of pet deer of
I was remembering
Bharat,
both of
Bharat,
you at that
Bharat
time.
Maharaj. So Jamuna was crying when she came
Yes.
back. What happened? We
Yes.
had
I
kept
was
2 pets.
remembering her when Kirti asked me that question. I was
So we had
remembering.
two pets, and when we came, all of a sudden, when we came back from Mandal Parikrama from Vrindavan, we came to know that both these pets are, eaten by dog. Like they attacked and killed. So she became very upset. But you clarified very much that nothing in this world is permanent. It's temporary. It keeps changing, and the only way out is we should be attached with Krishna and Guru and devotional service, and that's the way out. We cannot change the nature of this world, and so that helped her a lot. And she also got a book which you said from Loknath Maharaj, the Braj Mandal Parikrama, which she started reading. So we deeply appreciate both of you for guiding and all the devotees. And yeah.
Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. I was I was upset from 2 days. Like, and Kirti asked the question. Like, in behind of this, I wanted to say, when we sincerely pray, when we have desire, so Krishna answered in some, like, Krishna स्वयं नहीं आ सकते हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने आपके रूप में क्वेश्चन पूछते हुए आपके रूप मुझे आंसर दे दिया कि we should get attached from the Guru and Krishna. So little bit I was in attached with them, but now I will not actually. So I will pray for them, and thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Jamuna. Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? If not, tomorrow we will continue our parikrama of the 84 course of Sri Vraja Mandal. Tomorrow we will walk from Radha Kund, we will go to D, which is in Rajasthan. So tomorrow we will be crossing borders. Oh, there's a Shamala Gopika.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my dandal pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhu and Mataji. So I commented in the comments also, just I want to share that I'm unfortunate that I never visited Vrindavan even once. But so this year I was having a very strong desire that I have to go to Vrindavan. But because of this Corona situation, I couldn't able to go. But because of both of your mercy, so today I could able to see Vrindavan and dip in Radha Kund. So it's so merciful because of your mercy. Thank you so much for that.
So just one question, Mataji, the continuation of Champaklata Mataji's question. So
We
the
just noticed that.
Brajavasi,
We are so sorry. We just noticed that question right now.
no,
Yes.
it's okay, Mataji. So Brajavasis, they have to give, or we can ask also.
Well, we can, if we have the really strong desire that we want to worship Giriraj Shila, it's best to take permission first from our spiritual master. And if that's not possible, then at least from our Shiksha Gurus, we can take permission. And then when we go to Vrindavan, we can express to some Brajbasi, around the Govardhan area, that, please, we want to worship Sri Giriraj, so please mercifully give us Giriraj Shila. And if they are merciful, they will give. And then we must offer them something in charity. It is said that we must offer them some gold or, something. Actually, it is said that the same weight of the Shila, that much gold should be given to the Brajbasis. Whatever is the weight of the Shila, that much gold should be given to the Brajbasis.
Some form of service.
Some kind of service, some kind of charity should be given to the Brajbasis, and in return for that mercy. And then in Loi Bazaar, you can buy all the eyes, the lips, and the tilak of Sri Giriraj. You can do all that, and then the Singhasan, all that you can buy in Loi Bazaar in Vrindavan, and then you can come back and worship Sri Giriraj.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mataji. And one more thing. So this Giriraj, so we cannot take it from Govardhan because he wanted to stay in Govardhan. So that's why. So we have to get the permission from Brajavasis. So, but is anything for Shaligram also, Mataji? Like any reason for Shaligram to also have to get from some other devotees, right? So that's how I heard also.
Shalagram worship in general is like that. Shalagram worship in general is that we must have the permission of Guru or Shiksha Guru in order to worship Shalagram Shila, because it is a very serious commitment to worship Shalagram Shila. And once we have that, then even regular Shalagram Shilas, we can receive them as gifts from devotees. They come generally as gifts from devotees.
Okay, so it's not like we cannot go and take it, because I heard like there are some rivers in the Nepal
River.
side, so Gandaki River, so we cannot take it directly then.
No, there are devotees who do that.
Oh,
It's not like that with the Shaligram Shila. We can bring, but just that we should still ask permission from our Guru Maharaj or senior Vaishnavas before we decide to worship them. Because if you worship Shaligram Shila, it has to be for generations. Like, it's not like we have to commit for our life, but even make arrangements for later after our life. Because if we don't, and if our progeny doesn't continue that, then we will get reactions, even though we have left our bodies, but we didn't make arrangements for that Shaligram worship. It's very simple worship, but it has to be done daily. The timeliness and cleanliness is very important. And we can't just say, okay, today I couldn't do, tomorrow I'll do, and this. There are reactions for that. So, but as far as once we have committed, we will do it, then we can go to Gandaki River and bring them. And then there are different markings. We'll have to see whether they are Damodar Shila or Sudarshan Shila, or which Shaligram Shila is that. Narsinghadev Shaligram.
okay, yeah.
And sometimes the Shaligram Shilas, they tend to attract each other. You have one, and if that one Shaligram is happy, suddenly so many different Shaligrams will start coming to you.
Yeah, because I see many devotees, they are having so many Shaligrams in their home. So
yeah. So they attract each other as well. It's said. One Maharaj, I think Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, he has a whole suitcase of Shaligrams. And inside the suitcase, if you open the suitcase, there are different layers with depressions for keeping each so many Shaligrams, around 70 Shaligrams or something like that. And so he opens them and then offers worship and then closes.
And Shaligram can be worshipped by women, Prabhu, because I heard also women should not touch like that.
Yes, because women they cannot do regular worship. But yes, if there is an alternate, like if husband wife together they are worshipping, that is good. That when the woman is contaminated, then they should not do, no. So that time also the shalagram worship, like if there is a single mataji, they don't have, they're living by themselves or things like that, then during the times of difficulty they cannot worship, so they should not worship shalagram shila. But if they live in a family where they have their children or they have their husbands that who can, in their times of difficulty they can continue the worship of shalagram, then it's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your wonderful questions.
All right. Thank you all very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.